Hey everyone, Tyler here at The Movie Beat, back with another video. Today I came all the way back out to Amu Art Cinema because they are showing the new independent South Korean film Fighter with English subtitles. So I just got out of the movie and I came right across the street to one of those cafes that I pointed out. It's kind of a cold day, but I thought it kind of looked nice, so I'll shoot my reaction and review video here. This one was directed by Yoon Jae-ho and it stars Lim Sang-mi. Yoon Jae-ho directed a film back in 2018 that I was familiar with when I looked at his filmography called A Better Days. And the reason that one stood out to me was because it stars Lee Na-young, who is an actress that I saw quite a few years ago, and I hadn't seen it in many years, so I always meant to check it out, but I never did. So this is the first film of his that I've seen. And it's about a woman named Gina, a young woman who is a North Korean refugee who just came to South Korea. She is on her own. Her mother immigrated quite a few years before, but there is a disconnect there. She's kind of estranged, and that's part of the story. I'll get into that a little bit later. And she is waiting for her father. She's having a pretty tough situation all on her own, being really in a foreign country, and there's some stigma attached to her being North Korean. So this character Gina, she is trying to really get restarted with her life in South Korea. She gets a job working at a restaurant, she's washing dishes, she's cleaning tables, and she's just really not making ends meet. So she decides to get a second job at a boxing gym as the cleaning lady pretty much. And of course, the boxing, something about that she is very attracted to, and the coaches there and the trainers catch on to that pretty quickly and see an opportunity to train perhaps a future champion. She's pretty reluctant at first, but of course it comes out and she just can't help herself, and she pretty much becomes their next big thing that they're trying to promote. Overall, she's really not the most positive, lively spirit. She doesn't really seem very thankful for her situation. I'm not saying she needs to be, but she's a hard character to warm to. I don't want, she might have kind of a chip on her shoulder, but that's playing into this whole narrative of her being a fighter. And she says at the very beginning of the film that her fight is not over, and that couldn't be more true because she actually becomes a boxer in this film. So I would say that this is a sports drama, and it does follow a lot of your typical sports drama narrative like stages. And the most interesting part was that she was from North Korea. So if she would have been any other like person or part of society, it would have been a fairly by the book sports drama story. And in a lot of these stories, there's usually some kind of an estrangement, whether with it's a family member. So this one, it is with the character Gina and her mother. So if you guys saw films like A Baseball Girl, when the mother comes to the stand at the end to watch the pitching tryouts, those type of scenes are in this. The mom will enter during a bout, and it's supposed to be pretty emotional. So that was a little bit of a disappointment for me, because if you guys had seen the film 100 Yen Love, the Japanese film, I believe that came out in 2016 or 2015 with Ando Sakura, that to me was an amazing way to reinvent the sports drama story. They really took the character and the actual boxing underdog, to become a pro, the training montage, all of that really sneaks up on you in that story. And I think that is kind of the best way to approach these sports dramas in a new way. A lot of this film, Fighter, was pretty familiar to me. I personally have seen a lot of sports drama films where we have an underdog character who the trainers, they see that spirit within, and they really want to awaken it because they actually see the potential inside for success in the ring, because the ring is a place for redemption. It's a place to really excise a lot of demons that you have within you. I thought, we might have some awesome boxing sequences. Didn't really unfold that way, and I do like that as being a surprise, but I can also see it being a little bit of a disappointment if you really want to see some girls box it out, because If you follow professional fighting like I do, you know that there is a lot of drama and action in women's MMA and boxing as well. It can be very, very awesome, visceral. That is not here. But that's to say, and I would like to convey this message, do not watch Fighter expecting amazing action, boxing bouts. That's really not what this movie's about. It's much more of a character drama, character study, and this woman's path to finding herself after she has moved to South Korea. And I think that was done very well. Just the fact that they use a lot of the traditional sports boxing drama, narrative, you got the training montage, you got the same kind of boxing coach, the people who recognize the spirit within, looking at the trophies. All of that was pretty predictable. But of course, I am a sucker for sports drama films, so anytime you're going to show me a training montage, the fighter walking out to the ring with the coaches alongside in the dark, I'm going to get chills. And I definitely got chills in those moments of this film. I really like the actual gym manager, played by Oh Kwak-lok. He's like never aging, this guy. He's like a great supporting character, sort of playing the Clint Eastwood $1 Million Baby type boxing manager who can really recognize the spirit within. He was awesome. I do think that this character, Gina, played by Lim Sang-mi, was pretty interesting, although like I said, she's very hard to warm to. I believe she has her first smile about an hour into the film, and she is really defensive at pretty much every turn. Hey everybody, just wanted to take a little side detour. Was feeling a little bit hungry, so in the same area where Amu Art Cinema is, it's also like a business district, so I decided to stop in this Japanese style pub or izakaya to get some food. So I want to continue the review in here just a little bit, so bear with me. I hope it's not too loud, but it's a really cool environment. The trainer at the gym that she begins cleaning at is overly friendly. I mean, he is really into helping her out, and it was kind of odd because of just how standoffish Gina was at every turn. She really was brushing off any opportunity, like to train. She didn't want to be seen as a fighter to begin with, but then, like switched into it. She wasn't keen to taking any jokes about where she was from, North Korea, and all of this help that was coming her way. And it was a bit of a problem that I had with the film Josie that I saw last year. It was this character that was really down on her luck, really troubled character that a lot of people were eager to help out. And I just feel like in reality, that kind of a person would struggle a little bit harder to get the kind of help that was coming her way. So it does come together a little bit, when she starts smiling and being a little bit more accepting, but you just feel so grateful for her that she even made it to that stage. I mean, you would think most people would not get the second or third or fourth chance that she was getting. So that was a little bit of a struggle for me overall. And it does seem like Gina is ready to elbow everybody in the face. I mean, she's kind of like this walking, just pent-up ball of energy. You definitely see that she is a fighter. Not to play with the title, but yeah, it's in her heart, and she needs to get out some rage. She's got some anger problems for sure, and she's able to do that through the boxing, and so all of that makes a lot of sense into her really kind of letting go and letting her guard down. And I think that's kind of a cool metaphor for this movie because, you always want to keep your guard up boxing, and the boxing in this film actually let her bring her guard down, which was interesting because this is a woman who has her guard up at every turn. And I think that's one of the things that the trainers at the boxing gym recognized in her of why she would be a good boxer, because she's just a natural fighter. But yeah, I do think that was probably the most interesting takeaway, is how the boxing in this film really opened her up, and her guard was able to come down, and which is what you don't want to do in boxing, but she needed to do that for her personal life. So that was a cool aspect. But overall, I think the movie struggles a little bit at trying to make us feel sorry for this character, Gina, that just didn't really get driven home for me. Although I did kind of warm to her towards the end of the film when she kind of starts to let loose a little bit. So I think if you guys are anxious to check out this film, just know going in that this is definitely much more of a character drama rather than a full-on sports boxing film. I think it's just got the boxing background to set up this story for this character, Gina. So overall, I gotta rate this movie probably a 7 out of 10 as far as being just a very good character study, but somewhat following the normal boxing routine type movie was a little bit of a letdown for me. But on the character study side, pretty much nailed it. So I also think it's good to stay reminded that this is an independent South Korean film, and for my money, Korean independent film is just really doing so well. And I think it's unfortunate that coronavirus hit last year, because the indie scene for Korean cinema was really taking off at that point. So I hope that there is a recovery. This is probably one of the few that came out really on the tail end of, I think they probably had wrapped this production before coronavirus hit. It premiered at the Busan Film Festival, I believe, last year. So really hoping that the indie scene will pick back up once things start getting smoothed out, overall societal coronavirus issues and whatnot. So I hope to come back to Amu Art Cinema in the future to check out more of their indie films and give you guys my review and reaction to them moving forward, because I do strongly want to encourage fans of Korean cinema out there to also check out the indie scene, because there are some great gems and I've discovered a lot of awesome independent Korean films at this theater in particular. So I'll link a couple of my favorites in the description box of some great Korean indies that I've seen here, maybe to get you started if this is one of your first exposures to independent Korean cinema. So hope that's helpful. As always, thanks you guys for tuning in, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please let me know in the comments below. Until next time, I'm Tyler here at The Movie Beat. Keep watching movies.